My name is Diane Honeycutt, and I'm one of your Cabarrus County Commissioners, and I want to welcome you to tonight's edition of Out and About in Cabarrus County. We are honored to be here tonight as we celebrate agriculture in Cabarrus County at the farm at Brusharbor. And we have with us family owners of the farm, and we're excited to hear more and learn more about the farming and agriculture in Cabarrus County. But first, I want to introduce you to our guests, Tommy and Vicki Porter. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
My understanding is that you, Vicki, were the inaugural chair of the, and I want to get it right, Agriculture Advisory Board, and that you are now the current chairman.
That's correct.
And I believe you have some kind of state office that you're doing now, or
I was serving on the North Carolina Soil and Water Commission appointed by the governor. I gave that up a couple years ago because of family, grandchildren.
Right.
So,
well, speaking of grandchildren, so before we get to the actual interview, I just heard some very fun comments about your family and the tradition and the heritage of how you got to where you started and where you are today, that your father's 95. So tell us a little bit about the history and all.
Well, I grew up on a dairy farm in Mecklenburg County. I always had farming in my blood, but was not able to start farming from the beginning. I was actually a welder and a pipe fitter, general contractor, built homes for a number of years, and then finally was able to move into farming full time. We currently own approximately 1,000 acres in Cabarrus County. This farm we're sitting on is about 360, and then about an additional 600 acres less than a mile from here. Our farming operation consists of hogs, poultry, and beef cattle, and then agritourism is a newest part of our farming operation, which we're able to do some weekend weddings, which has enabled our daughter and daughter-in-laws to leave their public work and come full-time to the farm, which is a real blessing. So we have 4 generations that earn their income from this farm.
So it's truly a family effort, and I believe you said you had from 16 months to 95.
That's correct. That's correct.
You cover the age range pretty good.
That's correct. And my father, being 95, is still very active. He mows the grass. He will be on the lawnmower just about every day, and if you'll keep the blades sharp for him, he's happy.
That's just incredible. So we all need to know his secrets, I think, to living 95. I don't believe I want the heat piece of that, but I admire and respect him for that. So we want to talk a little bit about why we're here this evening, and that's celebrating farming and agriculture in the county. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about is the voluntary agriculture districts, and wanted to get you to tell us a little bit about what those are and why they're important to you as a farmer as well as to the community.
Well, as far as the farmer part, I guess the number one reason that would be important to a farmer is if you put your land in an agricultural district, whether it's original or enhanced, there's a little bit of difference in them, but it lets any future people who come in, if they buy land adjoining you or anywhere in the area, it's on the deed when the attorney does the title search. It'll say, oh, you are close to an agricultural district. In this district, there may be slow-moving equipment, there may be noise, there may be animals. At time to time, there could even be odors, and there could be insects. We want you to know that. So if that's a problem for you, if that bothers you, you know that up front. Don't build a home and then come back and complain, oh, I don't like that farm across the road from me. So that's a big part for the farmer as far as just protection. And then it lets people know, and it's very important to farmers to educate the public, to let them know where their food and fiber comes from. Doesn't originate in the grocery store. And so much of the general public doesn't understand that, and even people in farming industry, when it comes to the animals, don't understand, oh, well, you mean the animals you raise are the parents to these animals, and then they grow up, and so it's a long chain of stuff. So that is important. And I'm going to let Vicki tell you about how many acres and...
Sounds great.
Well, as you mentioned, Diane, we started Voluntary Ag District in 2006. It had been many years before that a group of farmers, us included, helped or tried to get this passed in our county. I was the first chairman of Voluntary Ag District, and currently we hold right at 150 parcels of land and right at 12,000 acres. So when we first started, we had a massive influx of farmers, and of course it slows down because but it has provided an opportunity for farmers to have a voice. And as we started doing these gatherings, these social events, I call them social events, like an ice cream social every summer, I started seeing a difference in the way that farmers and the agricultural community were respected by our county commissioners and by our local government. Because, you see oftentimes you don't see us as the constituents that we are sometimes. So when you see a gathering like this, it's primarily landowners, you realize what an impact we have as agricultural people on our economy and on the quality of life that we all share here in Cabarrus County.
Absolutely. I think you tend to take things for granted. You're just going to sit down, go in and order a meal, and it's just going to appear, and we don't think about how it got from point A to point B.
Yes.
It's kind of like I went through the coffee company one time. I said I'd never look at a cup of coffee the same way again, and I'm sure it would be the same way with your food. You just take it for granted, and we shouldn't do that.
Right.
And we owe a lot of thanks to people who are willing to continue the farming and keep things going, and I know that's an important part to Cabarrus County. So tell me a little bit about what's your favorite part of what you do here in the farming piece. What do you enjoy the most? If you could just do what you enjoyed, what would that one thing be?
Well, if I could do anything, I enjoy working with cattle, but my life has changed now. I have 4 grandchildren. My daughter and daughter-in-laws are doing a business that has been viable, and so I am probably the head nana, which is way better and more rewarding than working cattle. But
favorite job, I get
yes,
it.
Yes, it is. But that, for me, out of all the years we've been married, working cattle, and I did not grow up on a farm, so I had to quickly educate myself about farming. But that's probably my favorite component to the farm.
So now, to a city girl who hasn't worked the cattle, what exactly does that mean?
It just it provided, I'm not going to say peacefulness, because oftentimes it was very hectic, but when our children were younger, we would get them and we would get the shots that the animals needed, and our kids would gather together, and it would become a fun afternoon for us. And Tommy and I always put our children as part of the farming operation. We take them out and pretend we were riding the gator, but we were really checking fences, and brought them in as an integral part of our family dynamics.
You've obviously created a lot of good memories. I can tell from the way he's smiling when you're talking that those are good memories that you've created here. And what's your favorite part?
It's a lifestyle. It's not just a job, and I think if you talk to any farmer, they do it because they love it. The money's not always that great. The stress is definitely there all the time. You're at the mercy of the weather. But I am out with nature. God is with me all the time. So you just look around, whether you're on the tractor or riding the gator around, checking the animals, checking the crops. You're just out there among nature and God's presence. You feel that all the time. And to raise our children up in that type of lifestyle really means a lot to us.
This is my third year to come here for this event, and what I was telling Vicki before we started was the minute you turn into the drive and start to come back here to the venue, my blood pressure just immediately begins to go down from the peaceful and the gorgeous setting in which you're in. So that's a great thing that is being preserved and shared with those people. And we really appreciate you meeting with us tonight, because with a few hundred people that you have behind you at your place, we thank you for taking the time to do this. And one of the last things I will ask is, how has farming changed? Has technology had any impact on what you do?
Technology, it changes so fast to where I used to could take a tractor and go out, and if I needed to, could rebuild the engine, I could get it running. Today, we had a tractor go down on us. We were putting up hay today, had a tractor go down on us. All we can do is pick up the phone and call the dealer, say, John Deere, you've got to come fix it. And when they come out, first thing they do is they'll get out with a laptop computer, go plug it into that tractor, and the computer will tell them what's wrong with it. The technology on this equipment, it's wonderful when it works. When it doesn't, it's a headache.
And that's the joy of our sons being on the farm too, because they bring that youth that has the patience for that.
Right.
So we're blessed with that, because as you know, there are many things that us as parents and grandparents are just too old to learn.
We're trying to turn more and more responsibility over to our children because we know the next generation, our children, will continue the farm, and I honestly believe that our grandchildren, that I can see, even though they're very young, the love they have for the farm and the land, that I think it will continue for many generations to come, and that's our goal, that's our hope.
Well, I believe you'll pass that along pretty good. I can certainly see the joy for both of you and just talking about it, being here, and what it means to you. So we really appreciate that. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed that you might want to point out to our viewers before we come to a close?
I would just like for everyone to realize and become educated on where your food and fiber originates from. That there's a lot involved in it, and it just doesn't originate in the grocery store. So, but we appreciate the opportunity to meet with the public and to educate them. Any time we have an opportunity, we like to educate them on agriculture and what we do, and we are delighted to be able to host events like this.
And the public that we are with tonight, oftentimes we'll see Tommy and I in the winter, and the first thing they want to know is, are we going to have we call it ice cream social, but it's an ag celebration. And so this is kind of rolls back to the good old days when we used to be able to relax a little bit, turn off the bad news of the world, and just enjoy our neighbors. So we're blessed to be able to do that, and hope to be able to do that for many years to come.
Well, we appreciate you hosting it. We appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I would encourage anybody in our viewing audience, if you get a chance to come to the farm at Brusharbor, don't miss the opportunity. I promise you'll enjoy what you see when you get here. So I want to thank both of you guys for being with us this evening. Again, like I said, we know you had a busy night to take your time away from your guests to share with us. We really appreciate. To the viewing audience, we want to thank you for tuning in, and we invite you to come back for the next Out and About, and we look forward to seeing you out and about in Cabarrus County. Thanks for joining us.
If you have suggestions for topics or location that you would like to see on Out and About, please contact us. Our email address is outandabout@cabarruscounty.us.